So in this experiment, we're going to look at the topic of friction. I think most people understand what that is already. So for instance, I've got this textbook here and I'm going to drag it across the bench. How come that seems so hard to do? Well, it's because there's a bit of stickiness happening between the two surfaces, and that is friction. So what we're going to do in Lab 10 is we're going to measure how much effort it takes to slide things across the surface, and we're going to calculate the amount of friction things have. So first of all, we're going to use a scale. This is a Newton scale. I've got some other ones here. I've got the little ones. And then we've got a variety of these ones. This one measures up to 5 newtons. So you would make sure you choose the right one that is for the amount of force that we're dealing with. And so we're going to use these scales, and we're going to record some measurements of the friction. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to choose 5 different objects. Maybe it's a mouse. Maybe this is a little puzzle I have. Maybe it's a weight. Could be a textbook. Maybe even my shoe. Okay, you're going to take 5 objects, and you are going to calculate what the coefficient of friction is for your object to a surface. And we also have multiple surfaces. As you can see, we could have simply the workbench. You could have maybe a piece of drywall on the workbench, maybe a piece of plywood. And what you're going to do is you are going to drag things across surfaces, and you're going to try and figure out what the coefficient of friction is for each of your 5 trials. Okay, so you've picked your surface that you want to use, you've picked your object. First thing you're going to do is you're going to take whatever your object is, and you're going to weigh it on the scale to find out what its mass is. Okay, so you're going to record its mass. You're going to identify which surfaces you have. And then what you're going to do is you're going to place the object on the surface, and you're going to drag it using the appropriate scale. Remember, don't go to the wrong scale. If you do this, you're going to break the scale, and I'm not going to be happy. Okay? If it doesn't fit, that one kind of fits a little bit. If not, you can take a piece of string, like I did with my textbook here. I don't know if you can see it on the video, but I've got a piece of string there that I can use to drag my textbook with. Next thing is we're going to stay with level surfaces for this lab. Is it possible to do this on a ramp? Sure is. Just then we got to start dealing with angles and stuff, and that's another lab, another day. Okay, so we're going to flat level surface. We get the mass of something, and then we're going to record how much effort it is to pull this along the surface. Record what our reading is. It's going to be a little tricky to do, and we're going to record that. Then what you're going to do is you're going to calculate the weight of the object caused by gravity. You're going to calculate its normal forces. Then you're going to calculate the coefficient of friction. You're going to record all of these in a Google form for all 5 different surfaces. I do want to mention that you could do things very similar. You could do 1 textbook or 2 textbooks. Does 2 textbooks look any different than 1? Does it give us the same answer, or does it give us a different answer? Is it double, or maybe it's 4 times bigger, the coefficient of friction? There's an experiment for you to try and explore some things and see what you end up with. Once again, don't break my scales. Okay, I'm all set. I've got my textbook here. I got a piece of string on it. I've got my scale ready to go, and I'm going to give it a pull. What we want to make sure is that we don't jerk it. We want to go at a nice, smooth, constant speed. That's the secret of this. We want a constant speed so that we're using a constant force. And I'm seeing it's a force of around 5.5 newtons of force to move that textbook. So now that I have the force and I know the book's mass because I already weighed it, I can figure out what the coefficient of friction is between the textbook and the surface of the desk. You can do 5 different things, different surfaces, different objects, different weights, and see what you get for coefficient of friction.